You know, in winter, sometimes it gets cold, even down here in Texas. We may even see some hydrometeors fall out of the sky that are frozen from time to time, that aren't hail. Well, one of those times is going to probably be this weekend and early next week. Let's talk about it in this Friday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning. It's Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer, along with Miss Cece over here. It is going to be a relatively unpleasant stretch of weather over the next several days across Texas. A strong cold front today has brought cooler weather to the state. We're going to get a wee bit of a warm up tomorrow before the bottom falls out, and we go down into the slippery road known as unpleasant winter time. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. It's going to be windy this morning into this afternoon across the state behind that cold front. Not a big surprise there. It's windy more times than not so far this year, and one of those times will be today. We're going to have northwest winds gusting over 40 miles an hour at times, approaching 50 occasionally. That's going to cause some aviation impacts, especially where we have crosswind issues. Looking at you, DFW. Winds will calm down pretty quickly after sunset, though, calming back to 10 to 20 miles an hour in gusts. So at least it will calm down versus this morning, which is not so calm. After that, just take a look at when our big Arctic cold fronts prog to arrive. Here's early tomorrow afternoon. You can see the cold front's delineation pretty well. If not, just look at the big blue line, the big blue color of doom coming on down. That's a 32 degree isotherm, so 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Temperatures north of that fall quickly into the 20s, the teens, the single digits, and below zero by the time you get to Kansas, where you have the scary purple doom blob. But the cold front will make it through most of Texas by Sunday morning. It's going to be rolling through Amarillo by lunchtime, Lubbock probably about 4 p.m., DFW by or around dinner time Saturday. Same thing goes for Midland, Abilene. As we get through San Antonio, it looks like probably pre-dawn Sunday. Houston, maybe around sunrise, just thereafter. Corpus Christi to Laredo. Well, we'll just let this play through. We'll talk about it. Probably mid to late morning Sunday. Brownsville, McAllen, probably early Sunday afternoon, assuming the cold front's not faster than this graphic shows, which is entirely possible. So enjoy your warm weather. It'll be in the 60s and 70s south of that front tomorrow. And then by the time we get north of it, well, it's going to get cold, and it's going to stay cold for several days, with the northern half of Texas not getting above freezing for probably 3 days. All right, let's look at forecast temperatures over the next few days. Here's today's high temperature forecast. It's going to be cooler today behind that strong cold front, generally expecting 40s and 50s, 30s in the Panhandle, maybe some 60s in deep South Texas right along the Texas coast before cold front rolls through with those gusty northwest winds. High temperatures tomorrow, it's going to be warmer across the southern two-thirds of Texas, highs in the 60s and 50s, but you can see highs in the Panhandle after 6 a.m. Saturday aren't going to have the teens as that cold front comes crashing down. And once the cold front arrives at your location, you'll know it because the temperatures are going to drop 40 degrees within an hour or two, and you're going to have north winds probably 30 to 40 miles an hour. It's not going to be one of those subtle cold fronts, but again, so far this year, we haven't had many subtle cold fronts. Here's Sunday's high temperature forecast. Yeah, these are highs. Teens in the Panhandle, teens in West Texas, low 20s in Northwest Texas, 20s all the way from the Concho Valley, the Big Country, North Texas, Texoma, into the Arklatex. Wind chills, 20 degrees colder, so in the single digits to below zero. Highs in the 30s. San Antonio, Bryan College Station, the Hill Country. And if we're lucky, the 40s you see here will be after sunrise Sunday in southeast Texas and the coastal bend. But if the cold front comes through earlier, this is your high temperature at 6 a.m. Sunday. And from there, you're going in the 30s. Deep South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, hey, you know what? You're going to be in the 60s, upper 60s Sunday morning, maybe through lunchtime. And then you're going into the 40s Welcome to the fun. Good news. Here's Monday's high temperatures. It goes without saying a majority of the state will be below freezing Sunday night, Monday morning, into Monday night, Tuesday morning. We'll show you the low temperature forecast for Tuesday morning. That's going to be pretty much how it looks Monday morning too, but here's Monday's high temperature forecast. It's colder than Sunday. Single digits in the Panhandle, teens and 20s West Texas, the Permian Basin, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, North Texas, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex. Upper 20s to low 30s down into South Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, highs in the 30s, San Antonio, Houston, Austin, if you're lucky, you'll get out of the 20s Monday afternoon for an hour before dropping again. As it stands now, we're looking at 30s to 40s across South Texas, maybe 50s in the Rio Grande Valley. That might be a bit generous, but hey, you know what? We can always hope, right? But if it makes you feel better, the higher terrain to Guadalupe Davis Mountains are really going to kind of block this front from filtering into the borderland. It's going to be 60 on Monday afternoon in El Paso, so now we know where to go. Tuesday morning, ouchies is the word of the day, and that is a big ouchies. Uh, these aren't wind chills. These are surface temperatures. So subtract another 10 plus degrees for the wind chills Tuesday morning. We're looking at 6 below zero in Dalhart, 7 below zero in Perryton, 1 below zero in Amarillo, 1 to 5 in Lubbock. We're looking at 5 in Wichita Falls, 5 to 10 in the DFW Metroplex, 9 in Texarkana, 12 to 8 in Tyler, 12 in Austin, 18 in San Antonio, 18 to 20 in Houston, 24 to 25 in Corpus Christi, 27 in Laredo, about 30 to 32 in McAllen and Brownsville, 25 in El Paso, 7 in Midland, 10 in Odessa, 20 in Del Rio to 18. Wind chills, again, subtract 10 degrees off that. There you go. It's going to be much of the same for Monday morning for what it's worth. Tuesday afternoon, well, I was hoping all of Texas would get above freezing, but like I said yesterday morning, we might trend down a bit, and that's been the case. High temperatures on Tuesday afternoon, not getting out of the middle 20s now in North Texas, the Arklatex, Northeast Texas. The rest of Texas, highs in the 30s to middle 40s. Hopefully, a majority of the state will manage to climb to at least freezing Tuesday afternoon. We should have mostly sunny skies, at least allowing for some sublimination. Oh, there's a mouthful for the tongue-tied. That's my way of saying, if we have ice accumulation Sunday night and Monday, which we'll talk about in a minute, hopefully the wind and the sunshine will help get rid of some of that, even if we're staying below freezing on Tuesday. And by Wednesday afternoon, here you go, highs getting above freezing across all of Texas. We're actually going to get up into the middle 60s in the Trans-Pecos Valley, Guadalupe Mountains, Davis Mountains, far west Texas. The rest of the state, coolest spot, upper 30s, low 40s in the Arklatex, 40s to 50s across the remainder of the state Wednesday afternoon. And then by Thursday afternoon, here come the 60s and the 70s, making me happy. Just to go to show you, it's not February 2021. We may stay below freezing for 2 or 3 days, but it will not be a week with a foot of snow. Sorry. To the doomsdayers, at least the rest of Europe, quite happy to hear that. All right, so that's the temperature forecast. You can tell I'm thrilled about all of this. Let's look at the chance for some winter precipitation. Now, instead of what I did yesterday, putting out a little simple graphic that showed you where there's at least some chance for at least light freezing precipitation, then get my head chewed off for being like, oh, you're a doomsdayer. Here's what we're going to do instead. I'm just going to show you the model data. This is technically the global forecast system. This isn't the North American model, but I'm not going to go back and remake this because, frankly, I don't want to. So here's what we're looking at. This is the global forecast system showing you what the radar may do according to its solution here, Sunday afternoon through Monday morning, Monday evening. The pinks essentially is where your freezing line is. Light freezing rain, maybe some light sleet. Very light. The blues, maybe some snow mixing in. You can see that this animation, you see that little blob in Deep South Texas Monday night? We'll watch for that. That would be not cool. Regardless, cold temperatures light precipitation, the potential for some travel impacts, some light ice accumulations. We're talking a few hundredths of an inch, but if temperatures are in the teens and 20s, that's going to cause a little bit of mayhem in the traffic department. What's the European weather model say? Well, here we go. We're going to start looking from the south. Different kind of graphic set, but it's the same story in terms of at least the pinks meaning frozen precipitation. Light frozen precipitation. I'm not talking a big time winter storm here with February 2011 or February 2021 totals of like 3 inches of sleet, 10 inches of snow. We're not doing that. We're talking about a few hundredths of an inch of freezing rain, ice accumulations, maybe a little heavier in East Texas. We may have a slightly higher corridor of ice, but regardless, the main issue here will be slick roads, slick bridges, slick overpasses, some ice accretion on trees and power lines. Temperatures in the teens and 20s. That all falls, things go slippy, slippy, doom, doom. That's a chance as we get Monday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon into Monday. Now, clearly, the start time of this is going to be important considering we have a football game in the Metroplex Sunday afternoon. There's a chance we're going to have some slick conditions by the end of that game. Here's the European weather model. You can see it's a little further south with its solution. It actually has most of the precip missing the Metroplex, but still some winter precipitation Sunday night into Monday. The Arklatex, Texoma, North Texas, all the way down through central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, and to even portions of southeast Texas. This would again be a relatively minor event in the sense of cold is going to be the main story here, but we could have some slick roads. There you go. That is my main message here. Cold's going to be the main story. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday morning. But we're now seeing increasing signs. We could have some light winter precipitation, freezing rain, ice, that could turn roads into slicky, slicky, doom, doom as soon as late Sunday afternoon across portions of central Texas, the Hill Country, North Texas, Texoma, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex, through Monday. But the start time may also be later Sunday evening. That's something we're going to have to get a little closer in time, try to get a better grasp of. Remember, forecasting winter weather in Texas 3-4 days in advance is a fool's gambit usually. Typically, we wouldn't be this detailed, but since the world's falling over and coming to an end and blah, 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 we might as well, go through some of this that I normally wouldn't do. So, as we get closer, there will be changes to this element of the forecast, and I'm sure I'm still going to get nasty grams saying, yeah, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's okay. I'm Baldy-in-Chief. I'm usually wrong at least half the time, and you know what? That's okay. I've got a dag. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. It's been a long night watching storms. Fortunately, they mostly behave themselves, but cold weather makes me grumpy. So the plan of attack here is we will be keeping an eye on things. Probably not going to do a video this evening. Meteorologist Jason Cooley, I believe, has work. I'm going to be a bingo, and I'm going to my little veteran bingo. And so the expectation should be for the next video update to be out Saturday morning, but we might crank one out later tonight. And we'll continue doing that through the weekend, even though it's typically we take weekends off. Well, we're going to have active weather, so we'll keep cranking out content, and we'll get through this. Again, this is not February 2021. It's going to get cold. It's winter. Yeah, it's going to get very cold. We do that every few years. It's not February 2021 in the sense of we're not going to be, under a foot of snow or have ice and snow across the entire state. It's not going to be snowing in McAllen. And the temperatures are still going to be probably 10 to 20 degrees warmer than they ended up in 2021. Oh, and we're not going to stay that way for a week. So, it's winter. It's going to get cold. Yes, you'll want to prepare. The pipes, keep an eye on the pipes. The power grid, well, that's not my department. Obviously, if the power goes out, we're going to have issues with things freezing. But if not, okay. Not my department, but I think we'll all be watching that with interest. All right, that's going to be it. You can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radars, your daily Texas weather roundups, and more from the Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, available for free, by the way. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers in your device's app store, and as always, you can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. Y'all have a good Friday. Enjoy the warmer weather comparative to what it's going to be soon. We'll chat with y'all again soon. God bless. Hey, I hit the wrong button. Oops, well, you get extra Baldy-in-Chief. We'll try that again. Say bye to the dog. See. She's gonna try to jump. That's your content for the Friday. Have a good one.